Hello, this is Scott Hansen with the Dell Enterprise Technology Center. Today we will demonstrate double-take availability on VMware ESX. We are now looking at our systems management console where we have Virtual Center installed. We have a Dell PowerEdge R910, two PowerEdge R710s that are connected to PowerVault MD 3200i storage. We will use this environment today to do a virtual-to-virtual replication as well as a physical-to-virtual migration. So we're now looking at the double-take availability virtual recovery appliance. We'll open the console. It's a simple wizard interface. We simply click Get Started. It will give us the options for double-take availability. We'll simply select Next. You see we have several levels of protection available to protect individual files and folders or an entire server using ESX, which we will use in this demonstration. So we simply select the server that we want to protect that has the double-take agent already installed. So here we have the server DTVM1. This is a virtual machine that currently exists on the Virtual Center ESX server. It will retrieve the server information. It will show us the current volumes that are attached to that VM. Here we have the option to actually change the size with the replica. So this will actually decrease the size of the vmdk file when it creates the VM. So we simply select Next, and now we select the virtual recovery appliance machine that will help with the migration. So this is the current DT helper that we're on currently. So now we select the ESX server or Virtual Center server that will handle the transfer during creating the VM during the migration. So we simply select Next. It validates that it can connect with the credentials to the vCenter server, and now it will show us the data stores that exist on the target ESX server. So here we have the 3200i, which will be the new storage that we'll be migrating this virtual machine to. Now here we have the options to configure the virtual machine. We can change the name on it, change the processors, or change the memory amount size. It will also show us all of the network connections, and on the physical one we'll see some more network connections, which we'll see in a second. So we also have the option to compress data over the network. We have low, medium, and high. If this was also a WAN environment, we could limit bandwidth so that we would not chew up too much resources on the WAN. If we have multiple networks, we could choose the network to do the replication over. So now it will give us a summary. Here we can change anything if we needed or made some mistakes. Now we'll simply select Finish. And now it will show us the replication activity. It is currently configuring the virtual machine. If we look back in Virtual Center, we'll see that it is creating the virtual machine with the attributes that we gave it. It is also reconfiguring the virtual recovery appliance to add the disks so that it can migrate the data from the VM through that virtual recovery appliance. So then if we look back at the double-take console, we'll see that it will connect to the virtual disk and it will start the migration and availability task. So here we see it initializing the virtual disk. It calculates the space. Now in this demo, we've actually sped up the time. In real world, it would take a little longer to synchronize. For our disk, this process took approximately 8 minutes over a gigabit network. So now if we look back, we see the DTVM1 that double-take created. We see the 40 gig virtual vmdk that we specified in our settings, and we see the network adapter connected to the correct network. So we can say OK on this. So if we look back on the console, we'll see that it is protected. So it's currently protected. We can fail it over at any time. We can do a live failover or a test failover, which will do it with no network connectivity. So if we simply click failover now, it will shut down the original machine. This could be a VM or a physical machine, and it will bring up the replica. So here you see it's reconfiguring the DT helper, disconnecting those disks that it used to migrate the data. And if we open the console on the replica VM, we'll see that it is exactly the same as the original VM. And it's as simple as that. And again, the replica stays off until you tell it to fail over. It could have been protected for days, weeks, or even months. And DoubleTake uses real-time replication, so it will continuously keep the target server up to date throughout the entire process. So now let's take a look at doing a physical to virtual migration. So this was a virtual to virtual. So we can simply delete the protection that we just used, and we will click to get started again. DoubleTake availability. So it's the exact same process. Again, DoubleTake doesn't care whether it's physical, virtual, doesn't matter what the underlying hardware type is. We could use this to migrate from HP machines, IBM machines to current Dell machines. So in this one we have a physical machine. In this case it's a physical R710, one of Dennis's servers. It has more volumes on this one, but we will disconnect, or we will not replicate the other volumes, since I know that those are volumes that already exist on the network, and we can simply reconnect to those. So we'll simply replicate the system volume, and again we can change the size of the vmdk at this level. Simply select update and next. And again we do the same thing. We choose the virtual recovery appliance that helps with the migration, connects to the service, validates all the information, and then we can select the virtual center server, where it will create the VM. So it validates, connects, and again we see the data stores that are available on the ESX servers. So we will use this to migrate the physical machine to a virtual machine where the data resides on the MD3200i. So again we can change the name, we have the number of processors, change that. This one had 144 gigabytes of memory. Dennis doesn't need quite that much. We'll bump them down to 8192. And now here we see the network adapters. This machine actually has 4 LAN adapters, so we will discard the other 3 and only connect this onto our 20 network, which is our lab network. And again we have options for compression of the data, and we'll have the summary, and we'll select finish. And now this will give the current status. Again, it will configure the virtual machine. We'll see a Dennis server A pop up. There we go, Dennis server A. And that will have all the attributes that we defined in the DoubleTake console. So now it will perform the replication. And again, this is a real-time replication. Everything is continuously updated after the sync. So depending on your schedule or the schedule of the business, this machine, physical machine, is protected with DoubleTake, and at any time we can do the failover. So we see it's protected. We can simply click failover. Again, we have live or test. Test would be bringing the machine up without network connectivity. So once it disconnects, We can go back over to Virtual Center. See that Dentist Server A is there. It's reconfiguring the disk drives on the DT Helper, the virtual recovery appliance. And if we simply open the console, we'll see that Dentist Server A is now a virtual machine that resides on ESX. So this has been a demonstration of double take availability, very simple to use. Thank you very much for your time. If you have further questions, please visit us at deltechcenter.com. Thank you.